folks like to go, and, but the cost of like getting them on the bus and getting them there ends up being like, oh my gosh, this doesn't even feel affordable, or like going to a Fisher Cats game or a Red Sox game.
Ooh, yeah.
You may as well just go park
Yeah,
jump,
you
like
sign up.
it's, by the time I have the ticket fee,
Yep.
paying for the bus and all that, so if we had our own bus, you know, it'd
Might be
be.
different.
Yeah, we thought about
Yeah.
that too, like buying a bus. I mean, by the time you're paying $7,000, like, I
But
don't
with
know how
that,
much a bus is, but.
Oh,
with that
a lot more
software
than
though,
$7,000.
with that software though, that's X amount of hours that frees up Heather,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where potentially if she wanted, you know, if she was available to run something else. If we had a full-time director, that would be completely different because we would be able to, she would be able to be more places with more people.
Have you looked at, because I looked this last week, I was looking at programs and things, the adult programs that are at Conway Rec and the North Conway Community Center, and man, you go on to look at some of those things, like pickleball you mentioned. You can't register for a
Nope.
pickleball session
Nope, and that's what
because
he was
they're
saying, yeah.
constantly, they're
Yeah.
full.
Yep.
So, I mean, those are things where you would be able to use the facilities we
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
and not necessarily have to employ a huge amount of staff. There'd be a
Right.
person who you employ to come, who's trusted with a key, maybe
Exactly.
the janitor, pay for the janitor,
Again,
and then,
background checked,
right,
like
to
making sure
unlock the door and.
right, yep.
Yeah, and like a $5 drop-in fee.
They're more than that for
Yeah,
pickleball.
they really
You're looking
are,
at $70
yeah.
and $80.
But even that, you're right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Is that like a?
That's for like a 2-month period.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
But it's only one day a week.
Right.
For those
Wow.
2 months. So you're looking at 8 sessions. So $80, it's $10 a
$10
session.
every time you
And
play.
he said they were full.
And they are
Oh, yeah.
He
full.
said
Yeah.
he
They
was
take
on
it
a wait
seriously.
list wherever.
Oh, yeah, he
You
was.
cannot get into
Yeah, we
those.
were
He gave
just
us
up at
his
the field
stats
trip
last
at the
night.
North Conway Community Center, and as I was with a student, we were watching the older folks play pickleball, and they were, all the courts were full,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we have to be mindful of is how often the gym is open to be used for programs like that.
That was I was gonna say, like, they have the luxury and the ability to use a facility that's not
Dedicated
not
to
the school,
Especially in
right?
the winter.
Right.
And that's when everyone wants to use it, you know, basketball, the plays, I mean,
But if you
Yeah.
did it one day a week. kind of
yeah,
thing, so.
yep. I mean,
Yeah.
the weekends are kind of available, so they
True.
could definitely do that.
Just something to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are meeting on Wednesday with them actually,
Yeah.
for pickleball.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd
So
love
if anybody's
to
interested.
talk to you too, like, I could see like an art type, a lot of people interested
We
in
did a paint night,
painting
yep.
and
Yep, we did a paint
And
night a couple
I
years
know there's
ago
like
now.
a knitting club, but
Yeah.
knowing that the little schoolhouse could at some point be available
Mhm.
for some events, maybe in the evening or whatever, I'd love to talk to you and see
We
if I
should-
could volunteer.
Yeah,
Come to your meetings and
Yeah.
volunteer.
Yeah.
yeah, come
Help.
to our meetings. We would
Wednesday?
like a crowd.
Cause even those ideas, like, that's, we
We're like
also
a
need that,
person.
you know.
One extra person.
Singular.
Kinda like here,
Yeah.
don't leave after you're done.
Please, doesn't miss it all the fun.
Okay, so overall, this looks like it's a request for a 10% increase, 10.10. Most of that looks to be that it's coming from 2 things. One is the $2,900 increase, or $2,900 for the technology piece. And a salary increase for the, and/or more counselors, and then the buses.
Yeah.
The other places you were able to reduce, so
Mhm.
equipment went down.
Cause those brand new goals we just got,
I was gonna say, that looks really nice.
cause that's the funny thing, no one knows. But last year we had budgeted for goals, but we didn't budget enough, so we couldn't buy new goals. We thought, 2,000 will be great. No, they're 4,000.
You could buy
These
one
were
goal.
43.
You can have one regulation goal and
One-
this.
One goal this
Yeah.
year, one next year.
Those are $4,300.
$4,300
That doesn't
donated
surprise
from
me.
our community.
Yeah, but those are, it's really nice. I mean, you need it.
Yes. Oh, they're
You need it.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
But there was still, what, $270 expense for soccer goals.
270,
It was like $269 something.
were those ones we fixed?
No, those are the pug goals, those are
little
training
ones.
goals, they're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
they're
the little
classes.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
For the
I
little,
was like, wait.
The little
I thought we
kids.
had
but now
goals
they'll
to
have
be-
the other
well,
one.
they were,
Yes.
they were
Yeah.
for the bigger kids too, for Johnny to
Yeah.
play the one-on-one games,
Yeah.
so for the little kids, yeah.
Extra practice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Take it under
I just,
consideration.
would, it's not a budget, it's just to say thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I think you've rejuvenated the rec committee, and I think it's going really well, so I applaud.
Yeah, you guys do a great
Yeah.
job, so.
Thank you, thank you.
You gonna stay?
You staying?
No.
We're trying to.
Thank you. I'll
You gonna
run
leave
the
Jake hanging all by
You
himself?
and Jake, somebody, yeah.
I'm out.
Jake will film me
I am
on
taking
Monday.
a 5-second peep.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys
Wow,
very
you know.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate you
I'll
coming.
write
Sure.
notes. I did
Absolutely.
Spare
down.
time.
Absolutely.
I used to be.
On that candy, if you wanna, you
When
know,
my kids
just
were
leave it
young,
at the
that's when
pantry
I
or
did.
something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was perfect to go with like
Yeah,
at the
um,
school and then this.
Mid-morning on, somebody will be
Makes
over there, I'll
all
probably
those.
be over there early.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
All right,
you
Heather, we'll
guys.
see you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Don't stay until midnight.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I can't,
8
that's past my
o'clock.
bedtime.
8:00.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. What did I do with the?
This daylight savings change thing is
Yeah,
really
it's-
Oh, it's killing me.
Yeah.
driving me
Being at the
insane.
board meeting past 9:30 last night was killing me too.
Well, and I couldn't believe non-public for an hour. So you get there at 6 and you wait till 7. And, but what was up first? The budget.
I know. And I was telling. I guess, I don't forget who I was telling, just
Yeah.
standing outside talking, maybe it was Deb, but like, I completely slipped my mind that it was
Oh.
Monday night last
Oh,
night.
you should give me your number. I will remind you.
And text me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
man, I lost track of days.
Yeah, it was
I'm still-
interesting. We'll
Still
hear.
recovering from being with my granddaughter.
Oh,
I've heard people around town talk about like nasty chest congestion
Right,
and head
yeah.
congestion.
My wife has bronchitis right now
Oh,
Right.
from
geez.
whatever she got from her school.
kids.
You know?
Right.
Yeah,
From the kids, yeah.
from the cesspool that she works
Yeah.
in.
Petri dishes. All right, school board update, Deb.
My, yeah.
Okay, well, I left my phone in the car when we were having our meeting last night where I wrote all my notes,
Oops.
but I have my notes now. Were you able to get a copy of the CIP? 'Cause
Have not yet, that I'm aware of. I'll
so
look.
the running capital reserve fund balances are always in the packet, they said, but I have a copy of the CIP, so
Okay.
I'll be able to give that to you at the end.
Well, it's on the website, it's on the,
In the
Like on
board
the side.
packets, yeah, they have
Mhm.
everything that, yeah.
I don't know that we can always see the board packets online
You-
when you go online.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I've finally figured it out,
Oh,
but.
okay, so I'm not
Yeah,
just
because you go-
stupid.
No,
It's
no,
not that
no.
Not
easy
easy
to
to
find.
I
navigate.
called the SAU once and they said, it's on there, Nan. I go, beg to differ.
Right,
It,
having a hard time finding it.
correct, but the last few I've been able to do, and if you can,
Okay, well, maybe I
Yeah.
need to call you and you can walk me
Yep.
through it, so I can
Yep.
find it.
Yeah, I think it loads
Really
slow
slow.
sometimes, so you think it's not,
Happening.
it won't open, but
There's nothing there.
it eventually does.
Okay.
So one of the things you mentioned last time, be clear about what we have this year and what we are asking for in terms of positions.
Positions, yes.
So
So-
that's where I'm gonna start. And there's cost savings and, or I guess you could look at them both as cost savings. So, there was a proposal to restructure the head custodian position to, a different kind of supervisory position that would be half-time. So there would be a cut in the custodian line of about $40,000. So, that job description still has to be approved and all of those things, but,
So the body that's currently filling that position would actually go to half-time as opposed to full-time?
So there's a retirement,
Okay,
and so to fill that position July 1, it would be filled in this new,
Structure.
it's
half-time.
building, the idea is a building and grounds maintenance supervisor. So there would not necessarily be cleaning duties to that person, but they're more in charge of the maintenance and the budgetary ordering, those kinds of things, so fewer hours needed for that position.
So can they perform the janitorial requirements with one less person?
Well, the head custodian currently works during the school day, so it's,
Right.
there's not a lot of cleaning happening during the school
Really?
day. No, well,
Man,
that's
our daytime custodian was busting his butt all day.
so most of the cleaning falls on the two that work,
At night. After
afternoon
Zoom.
to evening. So those would stay the same.
Okay.
And, but we do have a declining population, so there's spaces that aren't used full-time, really, so I'm not sure there's as much
Right. you
cleaning that needs to be done in all of the spaces like they once were. So that's one position that I can tell you about. In terms of teaching positions, so this is where things get murky, so I'm gonna try to explain it best as I can. So in the current budget, there are 8 teaching positions.
So when you say current budget, this
This
school
year.
year's, the one we're operating in,
Yep.
has 8 positions.
Right. 2 of them we have not been able to fill, so we are expending at 6
Six
6
classroom
eighths of-
teachers.
classroom teachers.
Yep.
So the proposal for next year is to increase the 6 to 6.5. And there's gonna be some semantics that people talk about, so some people will say that's a cut of a 1.5 position, because technically those 2 positions are
They're
in
not
the
gonna get
budget.
Right, and they won't get budgeted for.
So this is always, as a non-school board member, before I got on the school board, this was always something that I had a problem with, that it's called a cut, even though we're not filling those positions right now and paying for them. I think it's misleading to talk about it as a cut. But technically it is, because so it will look like a decrease, but it's really an increase of a half a position in the current personnel that we have right now for classroom teachers.
And
But the bottom line goes down.
So from a
So
budgetary
Right,
standpoint,
it's a budget cut
Yes.
Right.
with a personnel
And
increase.
there's a decrease of 20 students.
if you can fill that
expected.
half-time position,
So we're expected to go from 102 to
To
83.
83.
And that's estimating on the high side for preschoolers coming into the kindergarten, because we only know the ones that are at our current preschool right now, for sure, which is 3. But they're estimating there are 5 more, that would come in as well. So that's counting that estimation of additional 5 from somewhere else.
Do you know how many students the school was built to support?
I can tell you, when I was hired, it was before they put the new part on, we were up over 200.
my recollection, just because I was the nurse there, so you had to do in and out records, medical records, my high was 243.
And you're going to 82?
Yeah.
It roughly, they said mid-80s.
And I think
is
when
what
we were
I
in the
gave.
200s, we didn't have the newer part of the
No,
building. It was the older part that had
Right.
much fewer rooms in it. So I'm sure we could house much
250.
more
Figure
Right.
250.
than
Right.
250.
Yeah, 'cause that school was built for 225 students,
So then, from my point of view,
enough classroom space.
you could close physically some of those classrooms, and then the janitorial staff would have less cleaning to do.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than use,
So you're gonna-
rather than use
you're gonna
10
have-
classrooms half-time, you could use
Oh.
5 classrooms full-time, just, you know, you see what I'm saying?
There's
And
6.
I
Well, and I
agree.
think that that's what they're
I've
doing
got all
already,
this
Is it?
stuff
to reduce
here.
the
I
burden
don't know
on
if
the
Deb needs
actual,
any help in
they
it.
haven't reduced
But-
any staff, but to reduce the burden on
I've
the
got-
janitors, they have rooms that they're not using
These are
and
Well, they're not
therefore
using them
Um,
full-time.
drivers of us.
Well,
But if you-
Yeah, they're all being used.
they're all being used.
That was my point.
Budget.
Yeah.
They're all being
These
used, so
are
they
all
all
the
have to be
reasons.
cleaned.
None
where
of
if
them
you
have to do.
But
Not
they,
use
some of them are
wages.
being used like as a,
Like STEM program.
almost like an office
Hmm.
for, like a guidance counselor has a full-size classroom. It's the smaller ones, so it's not like the big ones, but all those ones along the gym hallway are smaller in
Yes.
size, so, but even like your art room, that's a big class size. The art teacher's 4/10 of a position, so they're only there 2 days a week. So that means 3 days a week, that room is up for grabs, if it's used at all. Music, it's 6/10, so that's one of the smaller class sizes, so it's classrooms. So they're being used, but they're not all necessarily being used full-time.
But even if they're being used, they have to be cleaned.
Cleaned.
That's right.
So if they're closed and not used, you'd save that much
Closed
of
and
cleaning.
locked.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will emphasize that it's in recent past that the amount of custodians went from 1.5 or 1.4 to 2.
Yeah, it's been within the last 3 years.
In addition to the head custodian, because of the inability to hire someone at a 0.4 or a 0.5.
Sure.
So they raised it to full-time. So it wasn't really based on need that we needed 2 full. It was that's how we were able to get somebody in a position. So, so depending on how you look at the teaching positions, that could be, you could say it's a 1.5 teacher reduction or a half teacher increase. We were told that the half teacher would not have a classroom of students. So they would be used more
To buff it up,
to help
boost, that was the word.
students' progress. The reading specialist would still be on, the RTI was gonna stay full-time. The UAs were the same, keeping in mind that media specialist is full-time. All the paraprofessionals, there was no,
No reduction there.
well, I do believe there's a reduction.
Well, there was a retirement,
There's a retirement,
That
so
but
I'm
they
not,
still have,
They have the position in the budget.
yes, they do.
Okay.
And I don't wanna jump in, Deb, but in the very end of the budget, they passed, as budget drivers, because, and I think it's great, under the budget drivers, they're down 6.83% now. The budget they presented initially was the default budget. So, the budget they presented last night is what they're recommending now. After the default, they're supposed to go and they were supposed to look at employment, or, employees, they were supposed to look at healthcare, transportation, there were things they were supposed to look at. And when they came back, and this is my impression, so you have the default budget, now we have the budget that they're presenting. The the wages and salaries, they really didn't address because of the numbers, and they really didn't do anything about the healthcare. There's no, am I wrong? I mean,
Well, no,
they,
They're
still
still
looking at it.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, we're
Heather's
still
still doing
looking.
research.
Right.
but
That's
in
what-
terms of the budget, our feeling, this is my feeling, is, it gets very complicated. So
Yeah,
the
it does.
CBA, because we're in the midst of a CBA, collective bargaining agreement, with the employees, somehow because they're mid-collective bargaining agreement, they could keep the school care plan that they are currently on. However, the non-CBA'd, which is your administrative staff, they don't have a CBA, so they're not
bound by that language,
So
they would have to
they
change.
they have to change because that plan is sunsetting.
Right.
So when you start to look at healthcare, and we noticed this the last time we were looking at things, that it's different numbers
Yeah.
across, it didn't even out, and that's the explanation, is that the CBA people would still, we've budgeted for that same plan. Doesn't mean that that's what it's gonna be, because we're still looking to possibly open negotiations just for healthcare, even for the CBA'd individuals, but we felt it was better to hold that in there as like, that's the highest it's gonna be, and then hopefully we can come back at some point and say, actually, we're going with this other plan, and it will be able to amend that down.
Okay. The two positions that are currently not being filled are they're now not going to be budgeted for. But there will be a half of a position that gets budgeted for. What's the rationale for that half a position?
To boost student.
What does that mean, boost students?
I think they think because this year they're operating with 2 fewer classroom teachers than they anticipated, that the implementation of the curriculum and is stressed because of the lack of classroom teachers. The principal's report last month included the fact that the reading specialist is instructing a literacy class. It was presented as classes. The RTI teacher is teaching 2 math classes. The special ed teacher is teaching a math class currently. The principal's teaching a math class currently. So there's all these people filling in, and it's not a good model. So we're gonna need to make up some ground.
So this would be like a floater?
It sounds like it.
But
Like a specialist, a counselor
As-
or a mentor
As needed.
to help kids,
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah, but if you're using your speech therapist as a math teacher, so to say, I'm not sure that's being done, but, and you're only gonna up this by a half a position, and you haven't filled 2 open full-time
That was
positions.
the point I made. You haven't been able to fill 2
How you gonna
full-time
fill a
positions
half-time?
this
How you
year,
gonna
and
get
you're
half-time,
expecting to fill a half-time. I just don't.
And if the need is in teaching, cause you're missing 2 teachers, this half-time position that is
Not teacher.
boosting teachers and not teaching necessarily, they might be doing some one-on-one instruction to work with specific students, but
Or I think what they might use them for is to teach groups of students. So what I can tell you that I know for sure is that in math, so we all know that there's a multi-age model at the school, right? So like you have classes K to 2, 3 to 4, and 5,
post
6.
6.
So in math, it's always been the case, because even when I taught there, we did it this way, is that the math curriculum that they use is a grade-based program. So students were separated by grade to be instructed by grade level for math. From my questions and the answers I've gotten, it seems like that is also happening more often in literacy also right now. So when you have 3 grades in one cohort, but you only have 2 teachers, if you're gonna teach grade level material, you really need 3 people to be able to do that.
And this half-time person will be able to supplement that?
I don't know.
And this half-time
I'm
person,
assuming that's
That's
why
the
they would
plan?
propose it, yes.
and this
Edu-
half-time person will need teaching credentials.
Yes.
Educationally speaking, the philosophy they're using is often not well received, these split grades. In other words, why not go to straight grades, which, you know, some educators believe that's the way to go. If you have a K through 2, you've got 3 curriculums. One teacher's gotta do 3 curriculums, a kindergarten, a 1, and a 2. You might have a bright, so maybe you gotta stretch to a third grade curriculum. You see, not everybody's in favor of split grades. There was a time where, if you wanted to say it was just a budget issue, it made sense to keep, you know, because they're so small or so big that we had to, but now, if you use your numbers that we have now, going forward to next year, and there's roughly 80, you know,
Say
say
85.
mid-85, you know, mid-80s, you're gonna end up with this K1, 3, 4, right? 5, 6, 12 and under. Now, there's not one classroom that's gonna have 15 kids in it. So the point being is you've got 6 classrooms, 6 teachers. Why do you need the 0.5? You're gonna have 12 kids roughly, or, you know, potentially 15 and under in these classrooms. So, but you need another 0.5. And remember, we still have on the books 7 paraprofessionals. They are there to support special education.
Mhm.
When asked how many special education, how many IEPs you have, we don't know. How many
What do you mean
hours?
they don't know?
We didn't get a number.
They're gonna get back to
They'll
us
get
with that
back,
information.
but the point being is, you're at a meeting, you're asking, and I think it got a little dicey because, school board members are doing their jobs by asking questions, just as we sit here and we're asking questions for clarification. That's what we're supposed to do. If you need, you know, an increase, whether it's a salary, tell me why the increase? And when you weren't getting the answers back, so it was tough for me to sit there as a taxpayer and say, okay, you want this, this, and that. You say you need 7 paraprofessionals for 6 classrooms, why? Well, they support special education.
That's
You
a
know,
very generic answer.
It is, and you've got 80, you're going from 102 down to mid-80s, much less you've got 2 special ed teachers, and then you have all these, you have a reading specialist, you have a RTI, which is a support person, which I'm guessing they would use this teacher as, somebody to come in and support where needed, you know, but I don't know, so that's the philosophy that's going on out there. If you go to straight grades, you have 1 curriculum, and, but administrators currently do not wanna hear that, you know. And so there's an educational disagreement, which does reflect on the budget. I mean, I think.
I try just to speak from a budgetary standpoint in
Right.
terms of not getting into the philosophy.
Right,
I'm a teacher, obviously, so I have opinions, but I also
And an
have taught
excellent background,
multi-age.
yeah.
I was in a multi-age classroom as a student, so,
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily for or against. I do know as a teacher who's had to do it, it makes my job a lot harder when I have 2 grade levels of students that I need to meet, because a true multi-age philosophy is you don't separate kids for instruction. You have 1 teacher, you're building community, you're a cohort, you teach them all at the same time in the same room together, and your support comes in. So I think it's perfectly fine for the school to either be straight grade or multi-grade. That's not something that I feel like is my job as the school board person. But I do have a hard time splicing, and I'm an educator, so trying to understand the rationale and the reasons for the things that are being proposed. I repeatedly say I just don't understand. So if I sound like I don't understand to you, please know that I've voiced
Because you
that
don't.
at my own meetings as well. If we were to go to straight grades, you would need 7
Right.
teachers,
Mm.
which would be an increase,
Of a half a teacher.
no, well, yes, of
'Cause
that,
you're
over
6
the
and a half.
half that they're
Yeah.
proposing. So it would be an increase of 1 teacher over what they currently have, which would
Right.
still technically be a reduction of a teacher. So that could all be part of the mix, but it's not, because this is the model that the school has. So my concern as an individual is that we are technically increasing classroom teachers when we're dropping 20 students, because 27 sixth graders will move out with only 8 moving in. So the optics of that is a little off, in my opinion, but some of the other things you guys asked, but that in terms of positions, so nothing else has really changed in terms of number of positions, but we did accept the bid from First Student. So that is gonna be a reduction of 106,000, I believe. I have that proposal here. So that $106,240, so that's a 24%
Reduction.
decrease over the proposed butlers.
Where does that fit compared to last year's? Is it a decrease from last year's contract for transportation, or is it an increase? So if it's 106 coming into next year, do we know what it, I don't have it.
Yeah, what was
What it
last
was.
year's value?
me
This
see.
is 106 less. What was it
No, no,
last
no,
year?
reduces.
300-400K or something? I don't know.
It says a projected annual savings of approximately $106,000 in the recommendation.
Projected annual savings.
Where did, I have the school budget.
How,
John.
Yeah, I have it too, but I'm not good at finding a line item.
Yeah, what kind of a percentage?
yeah,
is
what
that?
was the
He's saying it was a
the
20,
amount?
24%
24%,
reduction.
24%.
Reduction.
So it's
Yeah.
400K.
400, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Sure.
we're talking a lot
I
of.
don't know if this helps. That was at the end of the budget. Those are the, Heather Sherwood put that together, 26, 27. And
Transportation.
those are the decreases. So,
Can't imagine it.
Yeah, but I hate to ask, when you get somebody that comes in 25% lower,
I think
do they understand the scope of the work?
I think the thing is, First Student's a huge company.
It is a
First
huge,
Okay,
Student,
see, I
First
don't know
Student
the
is
players.
Oh,
like
they're
is like a
gigantic.
Nationwide.
nationwide
Yeah.
company.
Oh, are they?
Where
Yeah.
Butler is an independently owned,
Okay.
kind of like
Local
Eldridge
guy.
was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they took
So-
over Eldridge.
Right. So the cost, the overhead is it's
severely-
obviously greater, but severely smaller for our area.
per,
Because they're
right.
spreading it out among a lot more
Exactly,
buses,
right.
lot more.
Right, and they probably have contracts that
yeah, and they
you
just,
cry.
like, I contracted with them for my son's wedding,
Yeah.
to bring people to the
Right, they do
house,
charter,
so
they do,
all
yeah.
kinds
No,
of
because
stuff.
you just look and go, wait a minute, how does this
Yeah.
company come in and
Yeah.
undercut by 25%?
Well, the
right?
company already provides transportation to Tamworth,
Okay.
so there is
If they're in
also
the
the
area.
possibility of sharing routes, because there is that.
Yeah, how's their
Actually-
performance and everything, No,
The
I mean-
superintendent said that they've had First Student at Tamworth for a long time, and he
Okay,
had
no, I'm
nothing
just
but,
curious, because
good
I don't know
things to
anything about
say.
school buses, so that's what I'm asking.
yeah. So
Those are big and yellow.
that was a
Mhm.
no-brainer, I
Says
think,
First
on our
Student.
part to.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you kinda, I'm looking on,
Mm.
how can they be so much cheaper than the other guy?
Mhm.
So as I look at transportation,
I found it.
it was,
Page 18.
448,
Yeah.
939 last year.
Mhm.
So it is a 23.66%
So it'll be about
decrease.
142, or 342,
340, 350.
2698,
Yeah.
yeah.
2698.
Wow, that's
That's good.
No, it is.
There is some discussion in terms of the preschool, because the preschool is currently in the SAU budget. So at the last SAU joint board meeting, there was some discussion about whether that is the model that we're gonna continue with, or would one of the schools possibly take it over? Madison being one of those schools that would possibly take it over. And that would lead to, you know, taking on that part of the SAU budget. But that's just that's in conversations, that there's nothing solid on that. Those are just recently mentioned things. We're still negotiating the area agreement, and we don't yet have tuition rates for the middle school and the high school. So that could be a big surprise,
Hopefully
happy or bad or sad, one way or the other. We're hoping it's happy because we didn't get the kind of reduction we anticipated by Conway sending sixth graders to the middle school now, which increases the population, so our share of the population should be smaller. So the anticipation was our tuition rates would go
Go down.
way down for the middle school, and they didn't.
Surprise, surprise.
So I think some of the explanation for that was like, it's a year, like you see
it
the
does.
cost savings in a year out.
Yeah,
So we're hoping that means this
this
year
year.
it's gonna go way down
Yeah, I
for the
think because of the
middle school.
timing of the budgets and when the decision for John Fuller was made, you're looking at a year or so past when the actual
Yeah.
change
So-
happens.
We're hoping that that comes back in our favor as well, so that could reduce the budget even further. So I feel like the bottom line was 6%?
6.83.
Reduction?
6.8. That's what yeah, so I think we gave you a 3 point.
The 3 point something, it was
Something last
3.89 or something, close to 4.
So, let me just see if I answered all the questions that you guys had
Those are,
here last time.
6 point.
and those are the reasons.
6.8.
And the only thing I can just reiterate that a lot of the reductions, so you look at transportation, sped, the out-of-district placement, there was none. So you look at all those, factors, brings you up. Even in wages, it said it's reduced, well, that's because they didn't fill the two positions, you know,
Right,
on
right.
and on and on, so. When I look at it, you say, great, I think 6.83, that's a great,
Yes.
but they haven't done their due diligence to,
Nip and tuck where they need.
well, nip and tuck, because, you know, we're going to, what's the word again, it's not buff up or
Boost.
boost, I keep, you know, they're gonna boost. That's not, to me, an explanation of, you know, what are you gonna do with these people, why do you need them all? You have to be a little more specific for that, and I don't think we're wrong in asking those questions.
No.
We did also get some student, data in terms of assessments. I haven't fully digested all of them, but they looked good. Superficially to me, I know the STAR assessment, so I know that it scores higher than like a state assessment, but the results year after year, cause it was more of a like a 5-year look back for some of the older students, showed progress in terms of the number of kids showing proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Each year that went by. So there wasn't a huge red flag for me looking at the student data, that way. There was something else I was gonna tell you. I'll remember it. I think I answered your health insurance questions as best as I
Mhm.
could. There is a difference between dental, between CBA and non-CBA. CBA do not get dental. Non-CBA do.
How are they gonna correct that? How are they gonna change that?
Well,
Are
that-
they even looking
There
to change
doesn't
that?
sound like, I've not heard any discussion of addressing any of that. I have brought it to them that this body is interested in kind of,
Leveling the playing field
yeah,
for.
aligning what people have to pay and what they don't. So hopefully, I'm a negotiator, but with CBA,
It's a
CBA is for
3-year,
3 years, so
right.
we don't negotiate that again unless we open for health insurance. Which the employees don't need to open for
Right.
negotiation, they don't have to.
They can say no thank you no matter what the SAU comes up with.
So, so they just had a meeting with the superintendent, so we're waiting. They have to have a meeting with their membership to know whether, they wanna proceed with that or not. If, I mean, I'm one of the negotiators, so I would be involved in that. I think I've given you a lot. If I think
Mhm.
of that last thing that I thought of. that
We're
I-
still here.
That I thought, oh, you should know about that. I don't remember what it was, but.
Did bring up numbers.
No, the infrastructure assessment folks, you sent me
Oh,
that.
yes.
Yeah,
So I did just forward you, but it was kind of like 4:30 this
Yeah.
afternoon. Cause Heather said she would forward it to me last night. She told me I'll send you so it's got the slide deck that the presentation,
yeah,
and it has a bunch of the information, so I forwarded that to you.
okay, just to me?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make sure that Linda gets a copy of it. And this is just, if you're not sure what we're talking about, this is we talked about last time, the school board.
Called Alpha is
Yeah, the name of the company that they're looking to hire to come in and do, Jake, you weren't here, to do an entire assessment of the school and its infrastructure and for CIP purposes, like, okay, we're looking at your roof and you're gonna probably need a new roof and, based on this criteria, this criteria, and this criteria, you're gonna need a new roof, you can need, in 2030, you need to start planning for it now, that kind of thing, and they do the entire facility. One of the questions was, did the town want to get in on it to a certain extent with Alpha, since they're going to be next door, assessing the school and its properties? Might it be an important time or a good time to get them to do the town's structures?
And this is what they do, they're experts
Yeah, this is their
at
job.
it.
Right.
Yeah, so
Um,
I'll send it to Linda, she can distribute it to the selectmen.
Yep.
I don't have any idea what the cost of any of this is.
I think you might have
it in
some
there?
of that
Okay.
in the email I sent you. Just for further information, the reason I threw it out was at a joint board meeting, we had this presentation, and for them to be able to do it, all 3 school districts had to put in.
Yeah.
And there's a school district that is hesitant because they've done some of this work already.
Mhm.
So we could possibly lose the
Subsidies.
opportunity.
Instead of using
So
the
if
school
the town
district,
could
use the
benefit
town. Yeah.
too, that would assure us of not losing
Losing
out
options, yep.
if that one school system doesn't wanna go forward, so that's why I threw it out. Cause I think it could benefit both.
I think it's worthy of taking a look at
Sure.
it and seeing whether or not it's something that
We need or can
Yeah.
afford.
afford is
right.
a
Afford
key
is the
issue,
key, yeah.
but sometimes you can't afford not to.
Sure, absolutely,
So-
right, yeah.
But at least take a look at it and see what, if anything.
And the other part that for us is knowing that our head custodian for many years is retiring, there's a loss of that knowledge.
Right,
All that
So, if we could get somebody in before June 30th to do some of that work, he could share that knowledge with
Mhm.
this company, so it doesn't get lost in the switchover between employees. And I know that's true, I think also, all 3 schools have I'm not insulting anybody, but aging
Infrastructure.
custodial staff that
Yeah.
have all that knowledge,
Sure.
and so there's a risk of losing all of that
A lot, right, a lot of knowledge.
expertise
Just the
if we
control
don't do
knowledge.
something like this.
Right,
Yep, we'll look into it.
okay. Anything else? That's a lot.
Well, our meeting went till 9:30, so now you know why.
Sounds
Okay,
like the ZBA.
do you guys have any questions for Jeff? Okay, thank you. Jake, selectmen update?
We got these two budgets
Yep.
last week, looked at those. I believe Josh is bringing his budget this coming week. So we'll get our first eyes on the
DPW?
DPWs. And just, we did meet with a company to discuss, we're gonna get an estimate for material for lighting the ball field. I mean, it's just kind of a, what
What would it take?
would it take, right, cause there is some interest in it, and it would obviously give the town a little bit more leeway to even rent the fields out to, you know, where we've redone the
Adult
lower field,
leagues.
right, exactly. And it would be nice even for our rec, like they were playing their parent game last night under generator lights because we turned the clocks back, it gets dark at 5 o'clock.
Right,
So that's, I mean, again, it was something that was discussed a long time ago. Bruce Brooks was huge into wanting the lights, so we met with a guy from Northeast Electric who sent all the information to Reeb, who's the company. They're gonna, I'm hoping, I don't know, I haven't talked to Michael, but they were hoping to have the stuff for him this week, the numbers on his end that we can take and get just a generalized estimate from an electrician to see what it would cost. And then the cool thing is with that company is they're giving us everything soup to nuts. They're gonna have it all itemized. But if we say, PSNH says, hey, we'll donate poles, we can take the pole. Like you can cherry pick what's on the list. It's not, you don't have to buy everything from them. They're willing to work, and they're setting us up with a gentleman from the state, because where we're a municipality, there's a lot of, even though it's new, it's not like when we redid the lights here, we got all the energy credits and stuff. We're able to access more of that, so he's gonna put us in contact with them to hopefully be able to
Yeah,
defray
cause
some
if you
costs.
put in like LEDs
Yeah,
and stuff,
so
you
right,
can
that
get
was-
the
that was the-
credits and.
Right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that was the thought, and he said, it's not like when you're doing the haulage and you turn one light on, it's 1,500 watts an hour. He's like, this is gonna be,
State of the art.
right,
high
yeah, so
efficiency.
we're actually having him do both fields, price it, so we can look at it and see. I think our main goal, depending on the number, is to get the lower field done first. And if we, if it's affordable, and see what we need to either raise and appropriate fundraise for and what we
Would you
have.
do like a warrant article for that or something?
Yeah, I don't,
Kind
again,
of
it's.
See how much it costs.
Yeah,
See
right,
what
I think we
comes
wanna
in that.
see how much it is, and yeah, then we'd have to do some sort of warrant article for it, or again, if we wanted to take a year and try to fundraise and see what we can do that way to, I guess it depends
No,
on
it's a
where
good
those
idea.
Do
numbers
all of
fall.
that.
Right, where those
Cause
numbers
even
fall.
old home, old
Right,
home
Old Home
week,
Week.
everything it would be nice to have real lighting
Exactly.
instead of the
And-
fire department pop-up
Yep,
stuff.
exactly, and that was the thought, is it would be,
Mhm.
not just for, obviously for sports, it would be a great
For town.
aspect
For
for town
town
use,
use, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that's, yeah.
So, I mean, other than that, like I said, we'll get Josh's budget hopefully on Tuesday, or Monday, cause our meeting's on Monday, cause Tuesday's Veterans Day.
That's
Oh,
right.
And I think that's, budget-wise, I think that's everything.
Can I ask you a question about the lights?
Yes,
Only
ma'am.
because the last time I was here.
Here,
I have a black car, so I can't really even see whether I'm gonna run into my car out there. Is there, like,
Is the
I
only
know
light
there
on
are
that side-
poles out
Is there any
there,
lights
but
in
I
that
don't know if
parking
they're
lot?
electric
Yeah.
poles, like, if those are poles involved in lighting the field on one side, can it
So
light
actually,
this way?
we did discuss, and we could actually add turn, add one, whatever, but there'd be general lighting too added in between the fields for that exact, the parking lot and that sort of stuff, so I'm sure we could add,
one for here.
Well,
We need
yeah.
a light out here.
cause especially if again, Old Home Week, everyone parks here or up there,
Yeah.
and be able to have a better lit area.
Well, that plus, I mean, we're probably up to 5 meetings a week in this space at night.
Right.
Especially during this time of year, once it, so
Dark at
having
5
it
o'clock.
be a little bit safer for
Sure.
people exiting the building and.
Right, and that could even be something we could, even if it's not
Like a-
part
like
of
a
the.
short term.
Right,
Yeah.
something that we could install facing this way, a single flood or a double flood that would cast enough light to be able to, you could make it to your car without walking into it.
You
Yeah.
were like, can you see where your
There's
car is?
Oh,
Like,
find my
"Oh,
car."
really?"
It's a very dark car and a very dark night, yes.
Yeah.
Tonight should not be a problem. We
Well,
have
turn the
phone.
flashlight on your cell phone.
Just keep clicking your keys and then your lights
Yeah,
flash.
yeah.
Okay, anything else?
I don't think so. It's like says we just hopefully more soon, but we've got the big one coming.
How did the ambulance meeting go?
I mean, it's good. The increase I think was, don't quote me, $11,000 from last year. It's based off of call volume. It's all broken down. So we went from 120 something to 134, I believe. They've added staff. So they were having trouble. So they added 8 new employees, I believe. 6 the night that we had the meeting. They were just starting. There was concern about understaffing, so they had broken down by graph, and it was a very small percent, no greater than 6% of the call time was understaffed, but more than 30% most months was overstaffed. So, and they're coming the first of the year. You have the governor's new
Oh, the ambulance,
Ambulance,
charge law,
yes.
whatever it is, no
no
surprise billing.
surprise billing.
Yep.
So that goes into effect, and that will be, because right now they only have one. I think they only use Anthem right now as far as their insurance, like that they work with the ambulance company. So this kind of levels the playing field for all the insurance companies. So it's all, well, I say level for us really. So it's a 350% of Medicaid cost is what they can charge, and that it will be covered by any and all.
Yeah, that's a new state law.
Yes.
So United Healthcare, all of them have to,
Yeah, because he said there's like
it's a negotiated rate or
right
something.
90 different insurance companies for New Hampshire or
Yeah.
something like that, and no company wants to hire a lawyer to go through 100 pages per negotiation to go through. So that's why most of the companies only use 1 or maybe 2 insurance companies, and that's why you get the $4,000 extra bill because your insurance company
Oh, I
only,
know, I've been there,
right.
done that, yeah.
So this, like I said, that will kind of get rid of that. And they also, if you're interested on their website, you can go through all the call volume, times, what the reason for the ambulance calls are. It's all on. So like, it's all very transparent as far as what the town's paying for response time. The only issue that I guess we had with them in the past, as far as call responses, GPS sending them the wrong way, roads are closed, things like that.
Especially up around Glines Hill.
Right, so the problem is the state updates it every month, the road closures, but if Glines closes on the 15th, they don't know
Until next month.
until the following
Yeah.
month, so, I mean, I guess you could, again, it was a lot of information coming at me really fast, but I think, like you said, if you wanted to call them directly and say, like the town,
We closed it.
Lions Hill's closed, we're closing on the 15th, your update won't come, just so hopefully they can make that adjustment. So they know, oh, it's sending me over to Glines, so we can't do that, we gotta seek a different route.
Is the town considering doing that? Like, do we have the emergency management director give them a call on,
I can't
we're gonna go
speak to if he's gonna do that, I think it was proposed where that could be an avenue. Granted that they can't change the GPS, they can
Right.
just make the note and hopefully the driver knows that that's until the state, but like I said, the state only does it the first of every month as far as road closures, and which I thought was interesting, but that's the state for you, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know why they would come up that side of Glines Hill.
No, again, and there's obviously other roads, and I don't know if it affects us as much, where I think Glines Hill is the only one that, but as far as closure,
Yeah.
like with Tamworth has a lot of their back roads, halves are closed and stuff like that, so, but it seemed they came prepared, there was, whatever concern I guess was voiced was addressed, and I thought in a very professional manner, so I think that's,
Okay, so they're working, they have 8 new employees,
Mhm.
are there, like, 3 of them are EMT basic?
so they
4
were
of them
saying
are-
that out of the 8, I think 6 were basic and 2 were advanced, whether it's paramedic or
Advanced
advanced EMT or whatever. But I believe the contract states that they have to have 1 basic and 2 advanced trucks at all time. which for the most part they do have, but there is some times where they might have an advanced, like they'd consider it a basic truck because it would be a basic EMT, but there would also be an advanced on it if they are understaffed, but he says that doesn't happen often. That was what that graph showed.
Was more concerned about them only having the basic when they needed an advance.
No, they always have at least 2 advanced people on call at this point. This is from, again, this is the information I've gotten from July on, is what these numbers were from, I believe, is July on. But that was, yeah, and again, like, I'm just, well, I guess but yeah, that was they were trying to beef that up, and they also said that now there's a new program where they can do in-field ultrasounds, certain things like that. So there's a couple different things that they can do that way, so that they can determine if they need to bring you to the hospital, call med flight, that sort of thing, is if you're having a cardiac issue or other issues. So they're advancing their capability in the field.
In the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So we're gonna get a new proposal from them. Has that been approved by the selectmen? Where do we stand with that? Do we know? Is it a done deal?
It's a done deal, yeah, because when we signed the contract, the rates can change every year based on our call value, volume, that's how that's negotiated. So all it did was, they brought down each town's call volume percentage, what the total cost was, and then we pay our
You
percent of.
divide it
Oh,
up.
yes, so
It's
that's
like a
how-
prorated.
So our
Right.
call volume has either gone up or
Or
everybody
down.
else's has gone down.
Right,
drastically.
whatever it is,
But our
right.
percentage of what
Right.
the total contract is.
Yes.
And that total contract is good for
5 years, 2030, I believe.
2030?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the only real ability we have.
Yes. Yeah, at
For the
this point, the
next
contract's been
5
negotiated,
years.
we just go through and I guess if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, we could address.
It's gonna be interesting to see January 1st with the governor's new, no surprise billing.
Right.
How that's gonna impact.
He said he figured they'd lose between $40,000 and $60,000 a year per contract. But it is
Yeah,
what it is.
nobody, until
Right.
we actually see
Right.
what the insurance company's gonna pay.
Right, that was
type of
his
thing.
best guess, because that question was asked as far as he figured.
No, I think that it's a good benefit for the consumers as well.
Sure,
because
absolutely.
I know I've gotten surprise billing, I think others here have
yeah.
as well. And it would be nice to know that your insurance company is gonna cover,
Well, right.
outside
The
your
lion's
copay.
share, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you still pay your 10%
Yeah.
copay or whatever, but yeah.
So unless I have Anthem, I can't call the,
Well, you can, but the
but you
problem,
get billed.
and what he had said too is if you get billed, you call them or
Yeah.
call him.
Yeah.
And what he usually does is have you resubmit the claim,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a percentage, and he didn't give us a percentage of the time,
Right,
that they will increase what they cover. But I think what they try to do is that, the insurance company's
Sure.
trying to obviously not pay, and then if you
Right,
resubmit.
right.
That's what he said, he guides people in that direction at this point.
Yep.
And he said it works some of the time.
No, I know, I've been there, done it with the company, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I have
but like I said,
firsthand
as of January 1, it's
Jeez.
It's a different game,
Right.
yeah, which I think is gonna benefit the consumer,
Absolutely,
the patient.
for sure.
I had another question and now I don't remember what it is. Oh, I'm aware that in the current contract, there are caveats for Tamworth and Freedom maybe? That if they don't live up to the contract, Tamworth and Freedom get like a refund on kind of what they pay to the,
I'll defer to Linda unless she was in the contract negotiations. But yeah, I don't know,
but we don't have that because
I don't know.
not aware of it.
Yeah, if,
Right.
say,
Yeah,
if
we
they're supposed to have
didn't
an
negotiate.
advanced life support,
Yeah,
but it's
And they
not
don't?
staffed, then I don't wanna call it a penalty, but
yeah,
the town
it was-
gets reimbursed because, wait a minute, you were charging us for
yeah,
A, but.
But-
you know,
But we only
didn't
got
get it.
B.
Right.
But we got B,
Right.
yeah.
So, again, I don't know about what we have, I wasn't involved in the contract
Yeah.
negotiations, so.
Right, okay,
Just ask.
just
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
note for future ones
Mhm.
that
No, I think that would
we
be a
should
good,
have that same, yeah. Okay,
All right.
anything else?
I think that's it.
That's it? Alright, health and dental insurance employee contributions, I'm gonna turn this
All
over
right,
to
that's,
Joe.
we started last month or so, and, I've been speaking with Linda, actually, Linda, I'm losing track of the days, I stopped by, I saw you yesterday, I believe, and we discussed it again. again, this is not Madison specific, some of this, I mean, this is a nationwide issue. And I think you're seeing it on the school board budget and everything. You know, they're looking at the highest health benefit cost increase in 15 years this year, right? You know, state and local government employees are saying, significant health plan premium increases, you know, double-digit hikes. And, based on, the information I got from Linda on the 2026 Health Trust Plan, the existing plan, it's gonna go up by 14.7%, and the dental plan's gonna go up about 4.4%. In comparison, even Medicare, you know, Part B is going up. You know, a lot of our seniors here in town are gonna see, you know, an 11.6% increase in their premiums for Medicare, plus their annual deductible is gonna rise 12%. So, again, you know, this is a tough subject to deal with. Again, you know, we're seeing, last year was a pretty big increase as well, and, I don't know, how are we gonna address
Healthcare's not
this?
getting cheaper.
It's not gonna get cheaper, no,
No.
the prices keeps going up, and again, I know, my plan went up 12.3% this year. I mean, it was like $100 a month increase, same coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the price is just going through the
So-
roof.
Can you go through this a
Yeah,
little bit?
and, but that's kind of the background, what I'm looking at. And, one of the advantages, and Linda and I spoke the other day, is, you know, the town has the HSA, where, I believe it's half the deductible is paid, you know,
Mhm.
the employees can bring in, you know, the receipt from,
Yeah.
No, it just works in the background, they do it all for us, we don't,
they do,
They don't even have to
Health
do it.
Trust does
Health
it,
Trust
so
does
you
it all
don't even
for
have to
us.
do it. But what is it, 50% of their,
50% of the
with it,
deductible.
we
Yeah.
reimburse
they
them,
bill
which is,
us
I
and
think
pay
that's a
them.
great benefit, and when we discussed that last year, that helped to offset the increase in the employee, you know, copay, or,
Mhm.
you know, their percentage contribution,
Right.
when it went from 5 to,
Seven.
7%. So, we did, looking at the drawdown this year, we are spending more on the deductible, or the
The
HSA, you know, the reimbursements.
Mhm.
But we saved, you know what I mean? You're spending a little more on the HSA, but we had a significant cost savings on the health plan.
Right.
So, you know, and it balanced out. And, you know, it's still a great plan, it's the Blue Cross Blue Shield Anthem, so, it's a good plan. I just looked at the numbers on employee contributions and stuff to get an idea of what they actually were. The blue, sheet on top is this year's plan. And it shows, you know, a bi-weekly, you know, paycheck for a person with a single, person plan is $27.44. Two-person is $54.87, and a family plan is $74.08. The dental vision is really, it's a great benefit, it's not that expensive, right? The employees are paying $1.56. Again, I think, we should note this, Linda clarified it as well. The town is only paying for a single, you know, dental vision plan. If the employee chooses to put their, you know,
Family.
partner or a family
They
under
pay
it,
for
they
it.
pay the 100%.
Right.
So, I think the big debate this year is, I understand that, you know, it was discussed at the Board of Selectmen meeting, and, to vote to go to 8.5%.
We didn't
Because
vote.
they didn't vote.
You didn't vote?
No,
Okay, so-
no. It was to see if we would all be in agreement to discuss 8.5%.
Okay, all right, so, okay, I didn't see the meeting,
Yeah.
so I
So-
didn't understand the.
Yeah, the guidance to Linda was to use 8.5%, but they didn't vote.
We haven't
Okay,
voted
all
on
right, all right.
anything, cause we didn't get the numbers till last Tuesday. We
Yeah,
didn't
that's,
see the
I
numbers
know,
till
but
last
Linda
night.
gave me the numbers and stuff, so I said, let me throw some charts together real
Yeah.
quick, just to see what
Do some comparisons.
how it impacts, you know, the employees,
Mhm.
right? Well, you know, what are we looking at? So the discussed 8.5%, it would go to 38.21, 76.42, and 103.17 per pay period.
Mhm.
So, going to 10% would increase it, you know, from $38 to $44, 76 to 89, then 103 to $121. So, you know, it is a significant increase if it is decided to go with a 10% employee contribution this year. But, as an option, what I think we need to look at, and I raised this with Linda yesterday, we were just kind of brainstorming. You know, Health Trust offers different plans. right? And that's what we did last year. We went with a slightly higher deductibles and co-pays,
Yeah,
and we saved, it was about $100,000, right? Because, we had a very high plan, so we went with a very good plan.
yeah,
And then the HSA was intended to help the employee by paying, some of that
Right.
deductible. So, Linda was gonna reach out to Health Trust to see what other plans they offered for 2026. Are there plans that have, again, maybe a higher deductible copay that would be a significant cost savings, and then we could use the HSA to, offset the impact on the employees?
Sure.
So I think that's something we should kind of look at. I know last year I spent weeks doing spreadsheets to look at the best values and, best options and, how not to, negatively impact, town employees
And the town's budget.
and the town's budget. And we
Trying
did.
to keep
We-
both in balance,
We
yes.
did, I thought we did really well last year. Well, Linda found, Health Trust found that plan that, we could save a lot of money. And the advantage we had was the town employees are very healthy, right? They weren't using this, the high expensive plan.
sure.
So if we went with the lower cost, higher deductible, we still came out ahead $100,000. So maybe we could do something similar this year.
Yeah, if there's something like I said comparable.
But again, look for that balance, cost versus, the quality.
Right.
Type thing, so. Linda, are you gonna reach out to the Health Trust,
Yep, I did.
Rep.
He's gonna get me something.
okay, just so we can, try to put something together for the Board of Selectmen to review. But again, I think there's some different options, and again, I don't wanna tack all of it onto the town employees either. I mean, this is my position. Let's again, maybe if we look at the different plans where we can find a better fit
Right.
to save money, and then, increase the HSA budget,
Yeah.
right, to make up the difference.
Right, because that's what we did.
Yeah.
We kind of did a call around. Linda did a call around to see other local towns, and it's hard to compare because we know like Ospey is a 2 to 20% contribution with so depending on when you were hired, you may pay 2% contribution. Any new employee
okay.
pays 20%, and they're kind of in between depending on date of
Oh, okay,
hire.
okay,
So, but they also, I believe, the town of Ospey offers a 0 deductible. So you may pay, new employee may pay, but you don't pay any out-of-pocket expense.
yeah,
So, like, as we're looking around where we see, and the average is around 10%, but the deductible cost is, and great, like, with the HSA, we cover half the deductible on that, but as far as, like, it's very hard to do an apples-to-apples
no, I agree, but,
application, but, yeah, so, no, I agree, I mean, I don't wanna spend any more money.
No,
You
but-
know, but
No, nobody does.
right, but we also need to make sure that we stay competitive
no, I agree.
so that we don't lose.
Well,
That's
and
why
the
we're
other
looking
thing
for
is
that.
sustainable, so
Right.
that the town can continue to afford
Yeah,
to offer that.
Sure, absolutely, right.
Because it will it'll, within the next couple of years, if we don't pull back a little bit and put it in check, you're gonna be looking at $500,000, if not more, in the town's share of what that healthcare cost is, and I mean, we've talked about the average across the state being 14%, and I'm not sure that the numbers justify, obviously, definitely not this year, going to 14%. And so the state average is 14, the national average is 14, maybe 13.9, but, it is not uncommon for there to be a little bit heavier share of the burden for the contributions to be on the employee as opposed to.
Sure.
It's still the majority of it
Right.
is gonna be on the town. You're looking still at, 90% is on the
Mhm.
town and 10% is on the employee if you were to go to a 10%.
right. And, I mean, and again, this is not necessarily my field of view, but if we're gonna talk state averages, what's the state average for veteran DPW worker? What's the state average for
No,
a
I
DPW
agree.
director? Right. So
Yeah.
like that's the pushback we'll get. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And if we're
But
talking
we're
state
still
averages,
it's still percentages. It's still percentages and then real numbers.
Sure,
So you're
right,
comparing apples to oranges. We're still looking at what the percentage of an individual plan would be
right.
when you're looking at the healthcare costs.
But, right, but for, but again, if you went state average, and if say and I'm not saying, I have no idea what the state average is for any of those numbers, right? But if we are 20% below state average, and we're looking, and I get the contribution's the same, but the contribution's a little easier to stomach if you were making 20% more. It would be a greater contribution out of your
Oh,
pay.
everything.
Right, exactly, but, so I've already heard it at something, not amongst any of our town employees, but, people, no, I'm serious, I'm not,
Watch the video.
I understand. That's what I say.
Regardless.
right, no, but I'm saying, like, I've had the discussion with selectmen about it,
Right.
but, I don't think I've had the discussion with a town employee, like a work,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
outside of our department, our.
No, and I understand, if you have a lower paid DPW
Mhm.
employee, I'm just saying DPW because those are the guys I know.
Right, that's why I brought it
You
up.
know, if you, on a family plan, then you look and go, okay, they're gonna pay, $103 every 2 weeks out of their paycheck.
Right.
That's
It's
a
right,
significant part of
right.
their paycheck.
And again, I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
I think that we need to
Yeah.
make movements towards greater contribution, for sure, I'm definitely not against that at all. But again, it's seeing the numbers and seeing where we can land and.
But if we could look at the alternative plans,
Mhm.
we may not have to go with a higher
Sure.
employee contribution,
Absolutely.
right? Cause our costs would be lower.
Right.
And then, I don't know, Linda, you mentioned it, I don't know the regs on this, on the HSA, are we capped at 50%?
That's.
HRA,
Or the health,
health
the
health
reimbursement.
reimbursement.
We can, by code or
By the
RSA
law-
or something,
By
we can-
law, the employer can only offer to cover half of the deductible.
Okay, so that's kind
That's
of,
right.
we're kind of capped in there, okay.
No, I think it's a great idea to look at other plans,
Yeah,
like I
just
said,
kind
like,
of-
kinda anywhere we can,
No, kind of find the best
Yeah,
mix, right?
absolutely.
Balance.
But we won't know that till we get numbers. And
Yeah,
we can
so,
do the comparisons.
Linda's gonna, she said, when I spoke with her, yesterday, I guess it was yesterday, that she would follow through on that, so.
And I do have to applaud that because there is follow-through and there is an attempt from the town's perspective to, look at their health options,
Mhm.
health care options. I
No,
mean,
we're trying,
You've done your work. I
we
mean,
try,
I
and,
mean, you guys last year did tremendous, and from what you said, Linda, you started in the fall, and by January, you had an option, you had
and
a
it was a
proposal.
win-win.
Sure.
Right,
Correct,
because it
correct.
benefited, the taxpayers, our budget,
Yeah,
and the employees still had a really good health
sure,
plan, right?
absolutely,
Right.
And at a fair price.
right.
And I think that's the
where
ground
we're
we're looking
hoping to
for.
land, yeah,
And,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, and again, this is not the Madison problem, and I want people to understand that.
Right.
This is
No, it is.
nationwide.
Absolutely.
And my concern too is, we have a lot of seniors in town living on fixed incomes, right? I see them at the food pantries, they're coming in now. Social Security.
Sure,
And, when you see 11-12% increase on their Medicare premium,
Right.
that hurts.
that's out of a $2,000 check, that's a
Right.
lot of money.
Sure.
Right, so, they're being impacted as well, we're all kind of in the same boat with
Mhm.
health insurance premiums, so.
Well, and it's not just seniors. If you have a self-employed contractor and a wife that, or, and some spouse is waitressing, their employers don't offer health insurance.
Right.
So you have to on your own. I've been in that boat.
You gotta go get
before.
your own.
So if
And
you
that's
don't,
fun.
no, it's
No,
not.
no, not
So
at all.
every year, just like we sit here, every year,
You're searching for the
it
best
goes
plan.
up, so you take a higher deductible and a
Yeah, that's-
higher.
Yeah,
So, it's not just the older people in town, we've got a lot of people here that don't have employers
Right,
that help with their health insurance. And, if you're a family of four, if you got a couple kids, and they like to ski or play
break
baseball or
themselves,
hockey,
yeah, I
you
know
know,
I
all
know.
about
you
that.
can't gamble,
Right, right, you gotta have it.
I think most of us dread a trip to Memorial and go,
Yeah.
my out-of-pocket's gonna be pretty high.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Right.
it's scary, and again, but if we can look at,
Yeah.
follow up
Yeah,
with
I
Linda
do
and,
that.
I don't know, I'm not an expert on health insurance premiums and things, I mean, I'm kind of a numbers guy, but, recommendations from Health Trust, kinda, what do other towns use, what's the best mix? What's the best value for the
Right.
employees?
I don't know that asking the health insurance
but-
company that is gonna get you the
know,
answer you want.
But, just so we, so you can make kind of an educated.
Sure, yeah,
Well,
right,
I
see,
think-
see what's there,
Doing this work
Yeah.
is important to show
Right.
right,
what,
The
what.
the total
you know,
contributions
and
would be
if I-
the difference in the,
Yeah, and
yeah,
put together sort of a second table, the ones that you have are great. But
Yeah,
then one that says what the current 7% looks
Sandy
like.
is, and what the
What the
actual
new,
numbers,
right, if next year we stayed at 7% with a different,
just like, okay, what you have,
yeah, right, and
okay,
then
I
at
can do
8.5,
that,
and then at 10%, and it gives you, and then, we can talk about what then, not just from a, because you're looking at a 1.5% increase over the 7%, everybody can do that math, but what is that in real dollars? Well, in real dollars, it's
$11,
not
yeah.
even,
Yeah.
not even, it's $10.86
No, I know.
or something per paycheck. So, and what does that do to the overall budget in the town? If it's $10 per paycheck to an employee, okay,
I think it came out to,
What is-
it would be about a $5,000
savings.
savings
Mhm.
if we went from the 8.5 that's been discussed to 10%.
To 10.
So it's five grand.
alright,
Again, I think we could do better looking at other plans as well, maybe offer better coverage,
or at
for the
least the same
employees, or
coverage.
saying that, again, it's just kind of shopping around, see what's out there.
yeah,
Okay, that's the point.
perfect, well, I appreciate
Did
that.
that answer your?
Yes, no,
questions?
that's
Okay,
great, that is everything I was looking for.
all right. Okay,
And
I aim to please.
Yeah,
so
no, I
that's
appreciate
all
that,
right.
it's great.
Alright, moving on then, CIP update, I really don't have much, we did have the meeting, I think I reported at the last meeting what we went through, we have another meeting on Thursday morning. We have some updated numbers, I think we're waiting for DPW's, I think Josh had said he was gonna get them to Tia maybe tomorrow, I think it was. But I know that we've gotten the fire departments, I know that we've gotten, a bunch of the others, so once we have a chance to put that all together back into the spreadsheet and take a look and see what it looks like, then for the next meeting, because we have another meeting on the 20th of November, I think it is. Yeah, we have another meeting somewhere around the 20th of November, and I'll be able to update and let you know what that's looking like. And I do know that there were some, like, project template sheets coming in with those updated numbers,
Okay.
so, which is really good, because then that gives us an idea of, like, are they even thinking about a grant for something already, that might be in the plan for, and I think from the fire department, there was one in there for like 5 or 7 years out, so, which is good, it's doing kind of what it's supposed to do, which is have people think about
Mhm.
what's going on
Do your
in
due
their,
diligence and.
yeah, in your department, so. Alright, CIP, it's 10 minutes to 8, so we wanna, not CIP, drawdown review. Do you guys have any questions? I think Linda, I had sent you some questions.
Yeah. So when you were talking, use the word reimbursed for grants, ETFs, or direct payments
Yeah.
from constituents.
That's just sort of layman's terms, that we get
Yeah.
money that comes in.
To the,
It
doesn't go back in the
no,
budget,
no, no,
but
no.
yeah.
But it's money that comes in the door to the
Right.
town, and that in your own mind, you can think about it offsetting some of the expenses.
Yeah, typically they call that a gross appropriation line.
Yeah.
Because, like the example of the field trips,
Right,
we have to put some money in there to be able to pay for the field trips, but the money comes back in through fees that we collect as a revenue, and that goes into the general fund. So
General
there's,
fund.
that line is what they call a gross
Gross
appropriation,
appropriation.
because you couldn't buy those things without having some place to have bought it from, some line to
right,
have bought it
right,
from.
right, and which you have to budget for.
Right, and sometimes there's no way to know. I mean, if you, that line's a little better, because if they know they're gonna go on 5 field trips and it's gonna cost them $6,500, that's great. But a line like the police detail line, they have to put $1,000 in there, but if we had catastrophic storms and there was all these details that we needed for repairs and
You're gonna
things, we
overrun
could
that
totally
line.
blow that line, but you get the money back into the
Right,
general fund.
Right.
You asked about what the pilot is?
Yeah,
It's
what-
a payment in lieu of taxes is what it's called.
I'm like, I know what this is, I know what
And
this is.
We do that with Silver Lake Landing. So they don't pay us property taxes as such. They're exempt because of their structure of how they work over there. But what they do is they pay the town 10% of their, I wanna say like, I don't know if it's their gross revenues, or it's 10% of this particular line that I'm supposed to look at in their report that says how much money their income,
That's
what
a
they got for
revenue
rental
line,
income.
yeah.
So they pay 10% of that, and actually, they're coming to your meeting on Monday night, cause they wanna talk about reviewing that and seeing about redoing it, cause it's been well over 10 years since we've looked at that, agreement. Let's see, what else did you ask?
UCC fees under town clerk.
Yeah, it's, I can't, I know what it's, I can't really explain, they're just,
If you don't remember what it actually means, what do they do? What's that money?
it's like a,
It's not much.
I wanna say they're like poll fee, like licensing fees that you have to come through the clerk's office. I mean, there's such a small, it's only a couple $100 a year, I think,
Yeah.
that we really ever collect in those. Let's see, so you asked about the assessing ETF, what that covers? That only covers our revaluation every 5 years, so we keep putting away money every year because that's well over $109,000 this year, and you figure in 2030, it's gonna be probably $120,000,
Oh, yeah.
so we're putting away $25,000 every year over the next 5 years to try and offset that when that comes around.
I'm looking for my. Oh, here's my drawdown. The assessing fees.
So
I
there's-
think I had a question regarding the, so we'll get to it when we get to the ETFs then, because I had a couple
Well,
questions about.
you said something about the zoning ETF says 17,000, the drawdown only indicates 13,000.
Right, and I didn't know if that's timing that we're off, or,
I'm not sure. I
Okay.
wasn't sure where those numbers came from off the top of my head. But we have asked the trustees for some money out of the short-term rental ETF to
Right.
offset some of the zoning
right,
expenses, but I think everything that's left in the legal line for zoning right now has to do with the cell tower or just regular legal advice for the
oh,
ZBA.
from the expense standpoint,
From in your budget.
yeah, in the budget, okay.
That's what, I think if you look at the detail, everything pretty much in there either says something about a cell phone tower or,
Right,
because everything else has been reimbursed for STRs. At this point.
okay, cause one was 13,000, one was 17,000, and I didn't know if the 17 was a timing thing, but I didn't see 17 worth of STR expenses in the detailed drawdown. I only saw about 13,000 worth of expenses, so.
You might not see any STR expenses in the actual drawdown, because I put those into an account that gets reimbursed, an expense account that gets reimbursed by the income from the trustees. So if you're on your detail there for the zoning board,
Right,
legal, you're not gonna see any, I don't think there's anything in there that's, yeah, if you notice cell tower, GMR, cell
Yeah,
tower,
they're all-
GMR, Vertex. This is all cell tower stuff.
so when we pay those invoices to whomever for, like Chris Bolt
Yep.
or, those are not reflected in here at all?
No, because they've come out, they're getting paid for out of the short-term rental ETF.
Yeah, but I thought they had to go in here first.
They don't have to, so I had been doing it that way, and
Right.
and then we've always been saying, oh, but you know, that bottom line's not right, da-da-da, cause you gotta add blah, blah, blah. I spoke to the finance person at New Hampshire Municipal, and they suggested a better way to do that, to keep this more accurate as to what you're actually spending out of your budget.
Okay,
And those ETF things come in another report,
well
which I
then,
suppose you're gonna
will
want.
you be doing that for anything that has a ETF?
As we start using them, yes.
Yeah, okay,
So what did we use, we did a few just recently, the ball field one was one.
right,
So,
Yeah,
those monies were paid back from the expendable trust fund.
Okay. I have a question. We have a number of areas, I'll call it, that are sort of stipends that haven't been expended at all. And I know some of them, especially like the emergency management director and some of that other stuff, they wait till the end of the year.
Most of them do.
Can we, I just think from a budget perspective, it's a little more realistic as to where we stand in the budget if those are done like on a quarterly basis, that there's a payment to them. I guess, I don't know, talking to the selectmen
That
about
would
making
be-
that change, because, waiting till the end of the year, now all of a sudden you've got, some of them I know have to wait, like the volunteers for the fire department, because they have to wait till they get their points and all that kind of stuff figured out. But, like the emergency management director and the fire warden and a bunch of some other stuff, stipend for the moderator and all the supervisors, those can all be paid either quarterly or, like the stipend for the moderator can probably be paid April 1st. Because he's done the town meeting.
Well, if we have a year with, some years we don't finish until November, we have the November election, you know what I mean?
But do we have a town moderator for
Sure we
the
do.
November election?
Yeah, the moderator runs every election with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He's there at the ballot box.
Yeah, he, observing.
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't
making
know that
sure
that was in
the
his
rules are
moderator
followed,
role, I
yeah.
thought
Oh,
it was in a,
Yeah, he's,
okay, but then if we have a year like that, you can pay him half on April 1st and half at
Well-
the end of the year or something. Just so that there's a little better representation of how much money we owe as opposed to showing up at the
Well,
end of the year.
I guess I'd make the argument that it could be
We don't- I say we don't
anything
know
that you
till the end of
budget
the
for
year.
till the end of the year, cause you budget for phone bills and then you don't pay all of it till the end of the year, it's not all paid off or something. I guess it's not for me to decide, that would be for the selectmen to direct me to pay him differently. So,
Cause the selectmen get paid, they get their stipend.
half and half,
Yeah,
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Every
They
6
get-
months or whatever,
yeah.
half and half.
yeah, they
yeah,
get
so
two
I think it
payments.
makes,
And
again, it
theirs are based on when we start to get tax revenue, that's how
Mhm.
theirs are based, so.
well, all of it should be.
Well, we get a boost in July and we get a
When the
boost in
bills come out,
December, so
yeah.
that's how we pay them.
Speaking of which, do we have those bills yet?
No.
Oh, yeah, those are,
Oh, I
thanks for
can't
the
wait.
reminder, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too.
And then, I was looking at in the executive fund line, there's an office assistant,
What page?
page 2.
Page
The
two?
office assistant, $12,000, we haven't used any of that?
No, I didn't hire anybody.
Why?
I had this, I talked about it at,
Linda's hitting it hard.
I
Yeah.
talked about it at one of the selectmen's meetings one night because Joy asked me, and honestly, when I gave my honest reasoning for it is, we're 5 people upstairs who get along so well. And when you get someone potentially in the mix that doesn't kind of fit, I really want someone that's gonna fit. I can train anybody to do anything I feel I have that skill, I can pass
Mhm.
that along. But if you're not the right person in the office, or you're not the right person to deal with the public, I can't teach you that. So, yeah, I just felt that I would put in a little extra before I felt like I wanted to
Yeah,
fill
but we
that.
don't wanna burn you out and have you sitting at home going
No, I'm fine.
because you say that and then, then you're not.
No,
You're
I-
fine
I-
until you're not.
I
So
understand.
if we have the budget and it's in there,
Yeah, well, we'll see what, I
Find a
haven't, I
person.
don't know, we'll see what I do for next
She
year.
needs a boost.
she needs
She needs a boost, yeah, we need the part-time boost.
I just think you will be able to get to things more quickly
No, I
and
would
have a
say
better
buff it
balance, and so
up
would
and-
Kate or anybody else in the office if you had this position filled. I mean, it's not a huge position, it's not a
No,
lot
it's
of money.
not, it's hard to.
That right person might come along.
And it's hard too,
Yeah,
'cause-
it's not-
well, I mean, the what happens upstairs waxes and wanes. You could have a day, Monday could just, nobody can show up, and then Tuesday you're just bombarded, and I could have asked so-and-so to come in on Monday, and she'd stand there twiddling her thumbs waiting for someone who needs a dump sticker, you know what I mean? It's
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of hard to be able to plan accordingly. When I did have somebody before, it was Emily, and she just did it for fun. I'd call her, I'd say, hey, you busy? And she'd say, no, I'll come down. It was, so those were the kinds of that was a very unique situation, there's not very many
Even
people that
help
you can.
Bob Boyd,
you know.
process his paperwork, get the permit stuff.
Yeah, I do,
Knows,
well, we've
And
talked.
helping Kate check
Helping
the
Kate.
applications to make sure
Well,
that
yeah, she's not gonna let that go, but.
she has to learn
I get it.
too,
Well,
'cause
no,
we're
not
gonna burn her
necessarily though,
out.
because I think the person that we get in would be more, not that technical kind of things that we do for our job. I think it would be more like the, help
Filing.
with the dump stickers, help with the filing, maybe
Copies.
something to that effect, right? I think,
Yeah, making copies of all of this for the boards.
Yeah.
so,
Setting up the board meetings and stuff.
Right,
yes.
that kind of stuff.
But we'll
Think
see.
about it,
Whatever.
We'll see.
think about it. Not that I'm trying to spend additional money, but,
It's there.
right, it was there
Wow.
and we. Oh, I had a question, okay, so now I'm moving on, the whole next page. General government buildings. Under the maintenance line, when I looked at the detailed report, it showed $1,600 for the swim lines.
Yes.
Under general government buildings, wouldn't that be under rec or DPW?
I put it under there because it was more like a repair to a building in a sense. So if like, the library had the window break underneath their cellar window break, I put that under general government maintenance. That to me, I believe the selectmen signed off on that
Yeah.
one, I
Yeah,
know,
I'm
as
sure
how,
they
where we
did.
put it. But,
Okay, it just seemed out of place with everything, that there's swim lines.
yeah, it was, to me, it was more like just something general government. It was,
Almost like a supply as
It's
even
supplies
opposed to a
or something, yeah,
maintenance
just, I
item.
don't know,
So,
I don't know where else you could fit it,
suppose.
yeah.
And there's okay, so now moving into highways DPW. Under road improvements, there was a $4,150 rental on the October 1st, but there's like no explanation for what they
That was
rented,
the
it just says
paver?
rental.
October 1st?
what page?
Is that the paver they
That
did
was
the
the
transfer
paver,
station
yeah, I
and
believe
stuff
that was
with?
the paver. I
Yeah.
don't wanna, but I believe that was the beginning of October, they rented the paver to do the spot, the the transfer station, they did in front of the DPW garage, and they did some aproning, I think, in some areas in Carved Bark, maybe?
I don't remember the other
I
one.
believe, yeah, there was some other stuff, some corners that had gone,
Tools for the vehicle.
so yeah, they rented it for a week and they did everything they could get done.
Now I have to see.
I think that was the last thing they rented. The last thing I remember.
This is
Again.
highways DPW contract services. Culvert gravel, no, this is right, where was that? Road improvements. Parts.
There would probably be some
Road
asphalt
So it's on
around the same
page
time.
28. Yeah, it's hard because asphalt's under a whole different category, so there was some, and if you go down 10-1, M&B tractor and equipment rental, 4150. This is rental.
I'm just looking to
I see the asphalt for Danforth Lane up on the 23rd.
Yeah, they just pulled, I think Danforth Lane, they pulled and then hand compacted some, they had some rocks that had come up through.
Yeah, I remember that, they pulled the rock.
Right. So I think that was done.
We rented an excavator. Don't we have an excavator? We have at least one. So again, going back to M&B tractor and equipment, the 4,150 in rental is what?
I believe it was the paver. Yeah, for the spot at the transfer station, they fixed that. They did the entrance to the lower DPW garage. And I know there's more that I'm missing,
I don't know where it was.
but I believe, I'm trying to think, it might have been, I don't remember, Josh had told us what they were doing with it, but they had it for a week.
Right. That was under the rec, we already talked about that. Okay, those are the biggest questions. Oh, building inspector. His budget for supplies was $2,500, he's only spent $425. Can he consider, as he builds his budget for next year, reducing that $2,500 to, say, $1,200 instead of $2,500? And then the same with his training, he has $800 in here, but he's only spent $295, and I don't know how much more training he's gonna go to, but maybe he can look at reducing that a little bit.
I wanna say his supply line, part of that he keeps up is because he buys any code books from that. And if there's change to the codes and things like that, and he has to buy books.
And that usually happens every other year.
Yeah, I don't know,
I mean, I
wanna
think
say
technically, I
yes.
think the codes change yearly
Yearly.
depending, but we only adopt codes, so he doesn't have to get, right, so if we adopted, right now we're on 2018 for the IBC, so we went from 2015 to 2018, and then the code books are, I don't know how much, but I'm sure they're expensive.
I wanna say last time it was like $1,800 for code books.
And sometimes we may not adopt the building code, but the electrical code, we have to adopt, the plumbing code, we have to adopt. So it depends on the year, what the state adopts and what the town adopts.
Okay. So total highways, DPW, they're over budget 1%. Their budget was 249, they're already at 252. What do they see or project
That's the
between
salt,
now and
right?
the end of the year? How much further do we think they'll go over? It's under the highways part.
Yeah, right here. Well, I know that, a lot of that was the salt.
Well, there's a number of areas that are over 100%, the contract services, the gravel, 124 is the salt, 100% they're at for support for software, okay, that's fine. Tools, 153%, mechanic tools, 153%. I just have a concern that they'll, between now, I mean, I guess it's only 2 months between now and the end of the year, but there are things in those areas, tarps and signs and vehicle repairs and those kinds of things that could put them even further over. I don't know if there's been a discussion with how are they going to adjust for that? Or what are they looking at? I don't know if there's any planned purchases in that area that they're gonna have to put off, or I recognize there are areas where they're underspent, like, I don't know why personnel is only at 19%. I don't know what that even is, I'd have to go look. In training, there was nothing in training, it shows up as 0.
I think that's a mistake.
I was gonna say, I think that's an error, because I think
It's
they
in
did
the
training.
administration DPW line, that's why it says 0 out there, but it's up in the very beginning of the administration line,
For the training
for
piece?
training, yeah, it's just,
I was gonna say, I remember
it
going
got
through
clicked off
there.
twice.
Oh, yeah, it's up in, 11:59,
I made myself a note to take it off.
okay. Anybody else have anything? No? Okay, 78% all total, when we're about 83% of the way through the year, at, October 30th, so. Where there are small areas that have concerns that they're gonna overrun or do something, something's gonna happen, overall, the budget is in still pretty good shape.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, after the drawdown. The revenue report, I think we mostly touched on this, I don't know that there's anything else.
You asked for me to do a percentage over last year
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Trouble with that,
I was gonna say, I know that that's hard, and I
Well-
think I'm more looking for the bigger numbers, like their taxes and maybe the meals and rooms and meals tax area.
right, and
The rest of this stuff is kinda,
well, so, we don't get the room and meals tax till the very end of the year, but it's right, it's online, tells us how much it is. And in last year's report at this time, I estimated how much was gonna be in there. I had 225 written there, we actually got 258. I didn't put it in this time because I was trying to be a little more accurate as to
Accurate.
what we are in terms
Okay.
of, so it's not gonna, yeah, the percentage is hard to determine because, like I say, it's an estimate, and all of these numbers that are in here, they come from deposits, and once those deposits are put into QuickBooks, then it shows up in my report.
right,
Trouble is, that's not always first on the list, and so so there may be deposits that are in transit or that are coming before your meeting that don't accurately, that have
That don't
happened,
show
but won't reflect on this, cause I won't update this thing every day.
right.
So it's a tool just to kinda give you an idea.
But from an
But-
overall, I mean, even if you said, we're about where we were last year.
I would say, I would exactly
Okay.
say that, yes.
There's nothing on here that goes, ooh, that's a problem.
No,
Okay,
the only thing I can see really that I can think of that is any lower than last year, the cable franchise fees are gonna continue to go down every year because
Right.
less people are having cable boxes.
yeah,
The
And
room
we've
and
known
meals,
that.
and we just got another highway block grant check yesterday, so you could add another $32,000 to that 74,000. And then, like I said, the room and meals tax should be somewhere in the way of $250,000 by the time we get it in December.
Did we ever get the clean diesel grant for the,
We did.
replace
Yes.
some of one of the trucks
One
or
of the
something?
trucks, yeah,
It was like 250K or something.
$255,074.
From, that's from the state?
$44, that's
State,
$40.
that's a state grant?
That's a state grant, yeah.
And does that cover 100% of?
No,
the vehicles?
70%, so
So
it's
it's a 70% reimbursement? Okay.
$350-ish thousand vehicle will get.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that,
Oh,
oh
it's-
yeah,
it's-
no
it's a
complaints.
no-brainer,
Oh, yeah,
right,
no-brainer.
exactly,
Oh, yeah,
'cause-
yeah.
Like we were discussing before, it's
Yeah.
on the docket to be replaced in the next couple of years anyways.
Which truck are they
It's a
gonna,
20-year, it's a.
Yeah, the
the old
05
Peterbilt or something, the old
yeah.
5, it does
It's a
need to be
20-year-old.
replaced.
And then there's,
Yeah.
I think there's an
Yeah.
09 is the next one in line.
So the grant will cover at least one of the trucks, right?
So yeah, so it's one
It is
truck.
specific to that one truck.
Specific to
Yes.
that one truck,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
That's why we applied for the grant, was the intention to, you
I
have
know,
to,
that was a good deal, that was
You have
well
to,
worth doing.
what's the word, is it, you have to take it out of service by drilling a hole,
Well,
bore
yeah, we
a
have to
hole
bore a
in the
hole in the motor
engine.
block and
Do you
then
really?
scrap it, yeah,
Oh,
because
so
they
you
don't,
can't sell it,
they don't
you
want
can't
it back
sell
on the
it.
road. The idea is
Right.
because that's a non-deaf vehicle, it's
Oh,
not,
it's a
it's a
dirty
pre-emissions,
diesel.
right,
Yeah,
so
okay.
they wanna get it off the road. I think it's foolish, I'd just send it down south and sell it down there, you know, and get it out of New Hampshire, but.
Oh, shit.
No, that's it, that's it, no, I'm not saying that's what we
No,
should,
no, I-
that's what the state should allow.
But you gotta show that you
Right,
basically
but-
junked it.
So, yeah, we have to scrap
Take it
it,
to make
we
sure.
have to
Yeah,
put a borehole, let me say, take a picture
Yeah,
of the whatever
We
baseball
ruined the
size we
engine.
put in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we have to have it scrapped, we have to send it to a scrapyard for it to be crushed and sent away.
Yeah, but still, for that kind of money.
No, sure,
it's definitely-
absolutely, right, no,
it's definitely worth it.
I mean, it's a
Now you
no-brainer.
get the town's getting a brand new
Brand new
truck.
truck,
out of it.
brand new truck, brand new plow frame and
Right,
bed,
yeah.
the whole
Somebody will
thing.
salvage metal out of it and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
We
like
can.
that.
The
Well,
scrap
actually,
metal
we
one.
can-
We can scrap it, we can get
We can
the
take the
money
money
for the
for it.
scrap, we just can't sell it as
As
a,
a
as a
vehicle.
usable vehicle,
Yeah.
right? It has to go to scrap.
Cause somebody will want parts off
Sure.
that, body parts and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, they'll do whatever they do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Wherever we take it is up to them.
but yeah, we have to have documentation.
Cool.
Okay.
What municipal property gets sold?
The loader,
The
the
old
old loader,
transfer
the
station loader.
416,
Oh,
The
okay.
cat.
Okay, this sounds like it was real estate property.
Real estate, yeah.
That's what
Oh.
it sounds like.
yeah, right, no, we didn't sell any
That was good
property.
money for that, if you saw the condition of that machine,
Yeah.
that was a pretty good price for that machine.
Okay, anything else on the revenue report, anyone?
No.
No? Alright, we'll go real quick to the ETF balance. Can you please do me a favor? Can you, on the first four of them, it says EFT?
I didn't change it?
Nope.
I swear I did.
Yeah, like
Well, you know why?
HSA,
What the thing is?
HRA,
You say-
whatever.
In my-
tell you,
in my,
that to me right
Stuck in my head.
You
Can't get it out of my-
In my
all
office, we
just
have
letters.
EFTs and ETFs, because we have electronic fund transfers
Transfers.
and we have
Right.
expendable trust.
Whatever.
Right, and every time I see it, I'm
I
like,
swear I fixed it, but maybe I
electronic fund
didn't.
transfer, wait, no, I have a hard enough time at
We knew what
ETF
you
to
meant,
begin
so-
But
with. Yeah, and then-
otherwise,
Yeah.
nothing on here has changed from your last report.
Well, except that the highway heavy equipment in the 2025 town meeting, we added $20,000 and it's not on here. It says 2024 year end, 25,000, added in 2025 town meeting, it says 0,
Oh.
but we have 20,000. And then the same thing with the transfer station, there was 10,000, Articles 11 and 12.
What did I do?
I don't know.
You didn't hit save.
Didn't hit save.
Right.
There
So,
you go.
cause, yeah, because I
Enter
did,
here.
I swear I changed those, I probably did it all at the same time and didn't save it. Alright, I'll fix it.
Okay. So that'll give us 45 in the highway heavy equipment, and then that'll give us 86 in the transfer station as the totals.
Transfer station. I'll check what I did.
Oh,
There's the
no,
seven-
wait, yeah.
I'm wondering if I added it, I put it in the subtotal and I didn't put it in the added in town meeting line? No, I didn't do that either. No,
no.
that doesn't make any sense.
Oh.
I'll figure out what I did.
Okay.
There's that 17,245 you were talking about and the expended in 2025 for the
Right.
STR.
Right,
And I wanna say it may not have all been
had to all be STR.
ZBA. It may have all STR, but I don't know if it was all ZBA, cause the selectmen had some STR issues too.
Oh, no, they don't get to use that fund, no.
So that might not have been
Been-
all ZBA money, that
Okay.
1724 is what I'm thinking.
But are we fairly certain we're done with that? I was gonna say, I don't think so.
No, that's still ongoing, right?
No. There's supposedly, when it went to this last round of court, the judge in his ruling saying that he would look at it soon after they had their discussion, he said he'd be ruling on it soon. Kate and I were just talking about this today, and we haven't heard anything yet, so.
And that was weeks ago.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
October.
Soon's a relative term, I suppose.
Soon, I guess, in the legal world.
Soonish.
It's in the legal world, yeah, that's,
Didn't the improvement, the painting of the Historical Society come out of this fund? And just painted the whole building, but there's nothing here, it's been
Showing
done.
as expended?
yeah, cause they fixed the windows
I don't know
and stuff,
what
too,
I
right?
printed you,
I don't know.
cause we did spend like $20-something thousand
It
dollars.
was,
Oh, poor Linda.
yeah.
Windows and paint and.
if you could do
Yeah, it was just
repairs or
paint,
something?
it was just paint, but it was,
Of course, this is all wrong, cause I paid a whole bunch of things, oh, just ignore this.
All right.
Okay,
Only
we're
one.
gonna say Linda to
To be
revise.
updated for
Yeah.
next meeting.
these,
Yeah.
these are all wrong.
It is,
Poor Linda.
cause it says we only did 3 things, but we did more than that,
We did.
cause we did ball
I was
field
gonna say-
too.
We did
This
ball field,
looks-
we did the Historical Society.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, the ball field,
Assessing,
historical society.
transfer
Groundwater
station.
too, didn't,
Hey,
all the
no, we
filters
haven't
and
done
all that?
anything out of the
No?
groundwater one yet.
None of the
But that needs
testing
to
and
be
stuff
done.
doesn't
The
come out of
testing
it?
and the water filters and all
It
that?
will, but I'm
Paint.
still waiting on
Okay.
what can actually be paid out of what. I haven't got confirmation from Joy on what can be paid out of the $66,000 grant we got and what can, the rest, and what will be paid out of the remediation ETF.
Okay. So we're just gonna ignore this and you're
Please
gonna
do.
update it and you
Yes.
just send it to us when you update it so we can.
Yeah,
take
or
a
do you want me
look
to just make you a new one for your next meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's only in 2
definitely.
weeks, so I'll just,
Yeah.
just send it along with your next
Okay,
packet instead of updating
Oh,
it now,
yeah,
because
that's,
Yeah, that'll be fine.
it should be,
It'll be different maybe by the
It
time.
might be different in 2
from
weeks.
now.
Might be different then. Okay, ETF balance update. Budget guidance development, I think we continue to dialogue with each one of the entities saying, hey, look, you know, I get that the school is looking at a 6% decrease, that's great, but again, is there more that can be done? Is there, and I know that some of this feels like nickel and diming, where, you know, take $1,000 and do you only need 750? But if you do that for virtually every budget line and you're looking at it, it does start to add up, it'll add up, you know, $100,000 or here and there, kind of thing. And so I think it's important that every one of the department heads looks at their budget and really sort of scrutinizes what they spent and what do they need as opposed to what do they want.
Correct.
What do they require to run their department and start there? Like, if I don't have, I'm gonna pick on DPW, if I don't have $450 worth of salt, we are not getting through the winter for icy roads.
Right.
So I need $450 worth of salt, or whatever, you know, 450 pounds, let's say, of salt, and that costs us however much. I'd like to have 1,000 pounds of salt on hand, just so that we're not ever gonna run short.
You're right.
But we may not be in an era right now where we can afford to do that. We have to look at balancing between what we absolutely need to run the town and then what we want to run the town, and probably somewhere in the middle or maybe closer to the want side is where I'm hoping that we can come out. Because otherwise, we've used this word till we're probably wearing it out, is unsustainable. You know, the tax impact on the town, the tax dollars that it takes, it's still, even with a 6.8% decrease, it's still almost $7 million to run the schools. At what point, and I've asked this question, at what point does somebody step in and do a viability analysis to say, wait, is it viable to actually run a school for only 80 students? Right? Is it better then to repurpose that school into a new town hall and have our kids go to different schools, go to other schools, go to Conway schools, go wherever, whatever it is? I don't know the answer to those questions, and it would be premature for me to answer those questions, but I think it is important to start looking at some of those kinds of questions. Like, what does it take to actually run the town from a requirement standpoint versus how we've been running it with regard to, yeah, we can, I'm gonna make something up, we can pay $22 for a paperclip holder. No, we can't.
That's the federal government. They like that.
Go take the mason jar off the bench in your garage and use that for paper clips or something. Don't pay $22 for a paperclip holder. We didn't pay $22. But that kind of stuff needs to be looked at and scrutinized a little bit by the department heads for where they can save themselves some money and save the taxpayer. Be judicious, as if it were your own home budget that this is coming out of. Because it is.
It is, it's coming out of our checkbooks one way or
Right.
Well,
another,
as
yeah.
much as we wanna spend money to do the best,
Right.
it comes at a cost to some people who can't afford it. So we have to be,
So, for me, I think it's the definition of what is the best. What is that best that we can do, and are we all on the same page with regard to what that is? And if we're all on the same page, then I think it's easier to come to an agreement regarding a budget. Because if 1,000 pounds of salt is the best that we can do, and we can afford it, then let's do that. But if 1,000 pounds is the best that we could do, but we can't afford that, we're gonna have to look at only 750 pounds of salt maybe, and can we still do really well? Maybe not the best,
Sure.
but really well.
But make it work
And-
so that
and-
it's functioning and
and
that
it's safe.
It's safe, right.
That's
So-
the thing, the safe part of it, cause it's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Use,
I know,
maybe it's a bad example
Example,
for
yeah.
salt, because you've gotta have it whether you can afford it or not
Yeah.
sometimes. If we
right.
have a terrible storm in December and we need salt to keep the roads safe, but your paperclip idea makes more sense in terms of that. Do you really need the,
Do you need a 22? It's a
No.
really cool paperclip holder.
Yeah, but, you know,
It's the best. It spits the paperclip at me
well,
kind
and
of
I
thing.
think
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not a necessary thing, so you can also plan for it, right? Like you
Sure,
could have
right,
your
you
paper
could-
clips all over
But
the
should you ever
table.
really
have
pay
a
$22 for a paperclip holder?
substitute.
No.
I
But,
did-
yeah, so,
I
yes.
did remember the last thing that
Oh, you did? Okay.
I was supposed to
This is
tell
the
you.
alibis and
It's the warrant articles that they're thinking of proposing.
Okay.
So there is a phase to the playground. That is the little section that would be disability accessible.
Mhm.
So with people with mobility issues, there would be equipment on that part of the playground, so looking to do a warrant article for that.
And that's not in the CIP?
No.
Is that a discussion that perhaps it should be in the CIP as opposed to a warrant article?
It's a 30,000.
There's gotta
Oh,
be
it's
grants for that.
30 to 9, no, she had three.
No, 60.
60 to
and then
90,000
their
were the
quotes.
3 quotes
To
from
make it-
last year.
To make it
ADA compliant or disability
The
friendly?
small section that's out there.
Wow, there's gotta be grants for disability access and
Mhm.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and that
so
would be-
that was one of the
That's a big
warrant
number.
articles.
It is a big.
And there was a proposal, or an idea thrown out to possibly add a couple of capital reserve, additional capital reserve, is that what they're called? Where you like put a little money in every year.
Add additional money to the capital reserve account.
Well, they want
They
2
want
new
2 more
accounts.
accounts, or there's talk about doing 2 more accounts, because of what happened to us with school care this year with the health insurance, an unexpected $100,000 that we had to pay by December, with 2 months' notice. The possibility of starting an account for that particular scenario, and then also because tuition is such a, even though we're in negotiations and hoping to nail down that, so it's not so unpredictable, to get more of a straight rate, student rate. There was the possibility of maybe opening an account for tuition to carry. So that if there was a year where
Tuition went crazy.
our population was a bigger percent of the overall, and we got slammed, we wouldn't have to put it in the budget totally.
It wouldn't be a single year hit, it could come out of something that was a multi-year, put $5,000 a year in or
Yeah,
whatever,
and then only use it if it's way out of control.
if it's above a certain amount.
Yeah, so those were just discussions, the playground warrant articles, I think that's gonna appear next round. of
Yeah,
the
just a
budget.
general question, I mean, it's related to our school, but are the other schools, you know, the like Brett School at Tamworth, the Conway schools, are they seeing a similar change in town
Enrollment?
demographics, and is enrollment going down at those schools as well?
Well, I mean, you saw in the paper that in SAU 9, they closed the school, so,
Yeah.
yes, the
Okay, yeah,
enrollment
I don't know
went
how the
down.
other towns, so their population's aging.
There's 37 kids at the Freedom School this year.
Yeah.
Wow, see,
Their
yeah, I didn't know,
population
that's why,
continues.
just a general, I'm
Yeah.
curious on how the other towns are.
Yeah,
what they're
but
seeing.
what was said to us, at our meeting yesterday was that census shows, or whatever they're using, that there's gonna be the COVID bump. So the enrollment's gonna go up.
COVID boom, if you will.
Yeah,
It's gotta,
Sort of like
bump
New Year's
up a
Eve.
little.
It'll bump up for a few
September
years,
feels
right,
like-
because you got 2
68.
or 3 years.
so
Yeah,
that
better keep it
we'll
simple.
see
You're
an
gonna go like that,
increase
yeah.
in the near future, we'll see an increase, but whether that is a one-off
Significant,
or
yes, right.
something that will continue is yet to be seen. Like, we can't predict that right now. It doesn't,
Yeah,
Hey, listen, I try,
But
I had
they're all
5 kids.
trending down as
Yeah,
far as.
are they?
numbers.
Yeah, I
Tamworth
just
is
don't
down
know.
significantly and.
Yeah, I mean, they have
They're
a
a
big school,
case
as
school.
They're
well.
trying to, I guess, you know?
Are they a K through 8 there? That's a big school over there, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Any last comments, questions, concerns,
No.
things that we're not addressing or looking at that we need to?
so I would also recommend, I know
It's
as
a
many
long up and
people
down.
that can go to
Oh.
the next school board budget
December
first,
1st.
I believe.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
because I think even December, we're looking at, January 15th-ish is usually the
Yeah.
deadline for
Locking it
getting
down.
for
Deliberation.
deliberative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deliberative.
So even if people come in December looking to
make any
ask for
significant
big
changes.
changes, it's late in the, which seems really crazy to say, cause we literally, this was our first budget, cause October was the default. So, it sounds weird saying it, but even in December, it's kinda late in the game. But I
Well, for
don't, I
anything
think if you
hugely
come, it
significant.
will make a difference if you have things to say.
Make sure I put it in there.
I know, my body's saying it's like 10 o'clock.
Well, it used to be almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
right.
3 months to.
Still is,
Right.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, if you could relay to them that we're still looking for them to continue to sharpen their pencils and justify that extra half a position, to show the rationale. Yes, they're decreasing by 1.5 from a budgetary standpoint, but from a personnel standpoint, they're adding a body, and what's the realism of being able to do that when they couldn't add 2 full-time bodies, so, that's my concern, my personal concern. But, yeah, all right, other than that, Linda, do you know who we have on tap for the next go-round?
DPW and, well, Josh and Mike. So,
Oh, right,
DPW, fire, financial,
and tax collector.
yeah, it's financial, yeah.
Okay,
And,
Maybe now.
you won't need to put me on the agenda,
Right, 'cause there won't be
have
another-
had another meeting.
Right, so
No, we
we won't need a school board update. All right, anything else? No? With that, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Say that,
I'll
right?
say it all at
Anybody
once.
want to second it?
Yes, I will.
Deb seconds it, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, next meeting is November 18th, here in the bottom of town, the basement, the